Item 8, council submission on the Resource Management National Direction. Would someone like to move this?
Yes.
Second it? Do you want to just give us a quick sort of, and then it's been moved and seconded? All right.
Yeah, certainly. So the government's consulting on a number of packages of national direction. The three packages that this submission relates to infrastructure, the primary sector, and freshwater management. And this slide, Shrahan can briefly speak to, talks about the key points from the submission.
Yeah. The draft submission, which you would have seen, we took to council at the information session on the 8th of July. So this slide is just kind of summarising where we've landed in terms of this final submission. So overall, the key messages kind of remain the same. So we're generally supportive of changes to national direction, but we're concerned about balance in kind of two key areas. So the first is the balance between enabling growth, but managing environmental and social impacts. And the second aspect is the balance between national direction and allowing councils to make rules specific to their own context. So that kind of came up yesterday when we were talking about package 4 as well, and the going package. So just quickly in terms of package 1, generally supportive of the instruments and changes, but we are seeking a number of amendments and clarifications to improve the interpretation and application. And we also kind of have this key message that we don't want growth and development to come at a cost that is too high for the environment and also for communities. So the impact on amenity, which a number of councils raised at the last information session. In terms of package 2, our main concern is again around the impact of the proposals on environmental health. So for example, one of the changes that we are opposing is the stock exclusion regulation changes. So wanting to support a total ban on no grazing in a wetland that supports the threatened population. And in terms of the afforestation proposal, so again, we're still wanting to not support the proposal to prevent councils from setting rules more stringent in terms of afforestation. So we want to ensure that we have the ability to set stricter rules in relation to managing wildfire risk. And then in terms of package 3, our key priority is to maintain the health of the water and aquifers. And as a result, we do not support proposals the government has put forward to change the hierarchy of obligations, to rebalance Te Mana o Te Wai, and to amend the National Objectives Framework. And again, just reiterating that we do not support a proposed option potentially of removing this cap of 190 kilograms of synthetic nitrogen fertilizer per hectare. So yeah, so we'll take the as read, but happy to answer any questions on it.
Great, thank you very much for that. I had some feedback, but I've thought about it. I won't raise it, so it's good. Pauline, thanks.
Yeah, thank you. On page 26 of our agenda, and it's point 26. I'm just wondering if you can explain a little bit further. We also note that the preferred option in the regulatory impact statement, which did not end up being an option in the final discussion document, proposed retaining all three components of the 2020 NPSFM concept with amendments to provide clarity about its meaning and how it operates. Can you just expand out on what that component was for us?
Oh yes, so effectively the regulatory impact statement, it had a number of options, and the recommended option didn't end up making it to public consultation. Yep. And and so it effectively was kind of maintaining these components. So for example, the hierarchy of obligations, the Te Mana o Te Wai framework, and what we have in the National Objectives Framework. But again, there were clarifications needed to make it more workable. And we've heard, for example, through our staff feedback that it was, for example, like the drinking water. But so we don't have the full statement on us, but we can.
Right. So my question is, final tenants, we would like the government to reconsider this option. Could we use stronger wording there with the will of the table? Could we say we would strongly recommend or request the government to reconsider this option. Would that be okay?
Happy to participate your direction on that.
Thank you.
Not just my decision, but yeah. Yep, everyone seems pretty relaxed. Okay, cool, then we've got Mark, and then, Yanni, Yanni, then Mark, then we'll move on.
Just, I mean, obviously things have changed since we even had the workshop, so we've now seen that we are, quite likely to have changes to deal with the impact of industrial in close proximity to residential. So I just wondered, in terms of package 1, infrastructure and development, if we'd picked up on the concern that around things like inland port activities sitting up adjacent to residential neighbourhoods, similar to the quarries. So that I just wondered if we need a slightly wider point that talks about the need for adequate buffer and mitigation of the development of industrial type activities that are in close proximity to residential, given that we've now been told that we may be unlikely to do the plan change that we've been working on, and given that we do have a history of with things like scrap metal yards, inland container ports, etc.
Just to note that the announcement about stopping plan changes, there's still an exemption process, so it's not off the table entirely. In terms of the scope of the proposed national policy statement is on infrastructure, so we could add a point about separation of new infrastructure from sensitive activities in the same manner that we've done with a similar point on quarries.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't extend to all industrial activity, which is broader than what this NPS covers.
Yes. But effectively, inland port, inland that's been set up effectively through a.
Well, let's not be specific, but I think you picked the point up. Okay, Mark, and then we're done.
Thank you. Going to point 10 on your statement here, on page 24 of the report. It mentions there including distance separation around the quarrying. Wondering if we could possibly include in there setbacks as a term that's quite well known in this space.
We can certainly perhaps simply replace distance separation with the word setbacks.
Or even brackets out setbacks.
Yeah.
Just to make it quite clear that that's what we're talking about.
Yes.
Cool. All right, so that's been moved and seconded. Any discussion?
Yes, please. Look, I think this is an excellent submission, and I think that the staff have done really well interpreting our feedback from the workshop and incorporating it in. So thank you for that. Look, this whole thing is just, to me, it's a discombobulation, all these reforms, and it's hard to keep up with at times. And most of them, what we're saying is, with this, they're unclear. We don't have all the information. And I noticed that staff are actually recommending that the government waits until phase 3 of the reforms are confirmed before making any plan changes to implement the new national direction, which would make sense. What I'm seeing here too is a push for growth at any cost, with little care for the impact on the environmental outcome, especially for fresh water and biodiversity. So these are big concerns for me. So the lack of detail is a concern. It's like we're receiving half-baked ideas and expected to feed back on the vacuums. And the timing is a concern as well. It's horses and carts comes to mind. The timing is also quite a burden on councils to respond. So I think this is really of concern. And I just want to read out 31 because I think this is really important. With the broader reforms coming up, the timing of national direction implementation must be a key consideration to avoid any unnecessary burden or cost for councils. While national direction will have an immediate effect on resource consenting decisions, we request councils are provided flexibility in updating plans to give effect to the new national direction. We request councils are not required to undertake any necessary additional work ahead of more substantive changes to the system, e.g. phase 3. We also anticipate proposed national direction changes will have resourcing implications, especially in training staff to understand and interpret, and ensuring we're able to gather required data to support decision making. So, the constant change here also results in reduced reduced certainty and increased costs for councils. So I'm just trying to emphasise again that once again, this is a burden on councils. It's half-baked, but I think that what you've done with the information is incredible. You've highlighted everything that we're concerned about, particularly our environment, the wetlands. So thank you very much, and I'll be supporting this today.
We're at 8.
My
Yeah.
right there, I didn't realise it too much.
No, yeah, don't encourage Pauline again. I mean, I guess, yeah, really valid points, Pauline, and the other side of it is also that there is some stuff in there which how we do support it. So, you
Yes.
know, submissions are a point where we do feedback. But I think it's also good that we've sent in quite a balanced approach which says how do we sort of get things moving in Christchurch as well. So completely agree. There's always going to be additional costs on us that, you know, we shouldn't have to pick up. But you know, we should provide feedback on it. So let's put that to the vote. All in favour?
Aye.
Hence, that's carried. Thank you both for your work. Thanks, John and Tim.